Hello everybody, welcome back to This Is Thursday Gaming, and you have come to the first PES Tactics Masterclass from yours truly. You will understand why when I show you exactly how Konami have screwed over the formations where they make absolutely no sense whatsoever, and you will understand exactly what I mean when I highlight them. And once you realise what I'm talking about, you will be flabbergasted at how Konami have managed to do such a stupid thing. So anyway, just give me just 2 seconds. I just need to grab a glass of water. Okay, and I am back. Right, so what we're going to do is we are going to be looking at the tactics for some of the teams in the Premier League. First and foremost, we're going to go to Crystal Palace because this is a team I haven't yet edited. And when I actually highlight the issues surrounding the tactics that Konami have put in place, you will understand that they make no sense whatsoever, and I think that is sometimes why the PES games feel a little bit kind of just a little bit awkward and a bit disjointed. So if we go down to the game plan for Crystal Palace, this is their default game plan. Now, first and foremost, if you have a look at the player ratings within Crystal Palace, you'll see that they are relatively low outside of Sacco and Wilfried Zaha and Benteke and Scott Dan. However, you do not want your team to be playing possession-style football when you don't have the players to be able to carry off those sorts of tactics. So for instance, Jordan Ayew at rated 70 in attacking midfield, he is not going to be any good at playing possession football against the likes of Manchester City, against the likes of Liverpool, or heaven forbid if they get into Europe, the likes of Real Madrid or Barcelona. So possession style football for a team like Crystal Palace is an absolute no-no. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to change their attacking instructions to be counter-attack, because at the end of the day, if we look at the type of players that Crystal Palace have got, for instance, Andros Townsend, he has got 88 speed and 89 explosive power, so therefore why would you play possession style football when you've got a player of that sort of speed down the wing? You would want to play counter-attacking football. Again, the same with Wilfried Zaha. He's got 91 explosive power and 89 speed. Again, why would you play possession football with Wilfried Zaha passing the ball backwards and forwards all around these little triangles here and not really doing much with it when they've got the likes of Christian Benteke, who I know hasn't scored a goal for a very long time in real life, but in this game he is actually pretty good in the air. So yeah, you would want to be playing counter-attacking football, and you would want to be whipping the ball into Christian Benteke. Right, okay, so the next issue that I have with teams like Crystal Palace is the fact that their build-up is actually short passing. Now that would make kind of sense because you've got 5 players in relative close proximity as far as the midfield is concerned. So that would be okay because, like I say, you've got a 5-man midfield, so short passing would make sense. However, if we actually go into the attacking instructions where you've got the short passing, okay, it is telling the players to be, the support range is actually quite far away. It's only 3 down from the very top. So short passing down here, as you can see, the counters get closer together. That is where you want the short passing to actually be. So the short passes themselves are a lot more, let's just say that they're a lot more effective when the players are closer to the ball. Otherwise, you're going to be playing short passing and yet the players are going to be really farly, really spaced out. So what you want to do is pull. If you're going to be playing short passing, you're going to need to pull the support range right in, because that makes sense. If you play short passing, you want the players to be closer to you, don't you? Does that not make sense? So yes, so that needs to be adjusted. As far as the short passing is concerned, you need, and you'll want to play short passing, you need to make sure that the support range is in the bottom three tiers. If you want to play obviously long passing, then you need to push it right up here, because the players will then be further spaced out and you can play the long ball to each other. So apparently we're going to be playing short passing, or that's what Crystal Palace seem to be playing. So we're going to leave that at the third tier for short passing. Now the other thing as well, if you look at the attacking area, it says attacking area is wide. Now why would a team play, I mean, I understand you've got Andros Townsend one side and Wilfried Zaha the other, but why would you play a wide style football when you've got effectively 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players down the middle? So why would a team play the ball out wide? So if the team wants to play wide, then effectively the players need to be out wide. So he can go there, he can go there. Now that actually means that the team are now playing wide. Move those out of there like that. Okay, so now the players are out wide. The players can now bomb down the wing, and they can actually cross the ball into the likes of Benteke. With the addition of the fullbacks also attacking as well, you need to push them out a little bit wider, because again their tactics are to play wide. Now that there's all this space in the middle, is that really a suitable formation? Because they want to play out wide, is that really a suitable formation for short passing? Absolutely not. So what you would want to do is you want to change that, you want to change that to long passing, and then you would want to move the support range right up there, because now you've got great big gaps in between each of the players, and that would make much more sense to play long passing up to the likes of Benteke, who is strong in the air, and the likes of Andros Townsend and Wilfried Zaha can cross the ball in. Now, if Benteke, for instance, wasn't Benteke and he was a very slight forward, not a particularly strong forward, let's say for instance like Michael Owen, then Michael Owen would probably be the sort of player that you would want to play a short game with, because Michael Owen obviously isn't going to have the strength or the aerial capability to get past two solid, very tall defenders. However, Crystal Palace's team lineup lends itself to playing a long ball instead. So that would make much more sense for Benteke to nod the ball down to Ayew, for Andros Townsend to cross the ball in, or Zaha to cross the ball in. He can then knock it down to Ayew, and they will be in a very effective position as far as attacking is concerned. So we've now established that Crystal Palace, with the likes of their players, should be playing counter-attacking, they should be playing long passing, and their players themselves should be pushed out wide, because that's the attacking area that they're actually going for. Okay, right, now the defensive element is the containment area. This is their default containment area, is wide, so that makes sense because there's players out wide anyway. And I don't really necessarily think that the likes of Crystal Palace can be conservative with their approach to defending. One, because they don't have the skills of the players to get themselves out of the crap. So therefore, the pressure should be aggressive. Okay, so the defensive line is absolutely fine. You can choose whatever you like. You can play high up or you can drop it right down. If you are playing long ball, I would probably go somewhere in the middle, just because the defenders can then play long ball up to the likes of Benteke or to the wingers like Townsend or Zaha. Now the compactness, if we push this up, this basically tells you how compact the team's overall shape is when it comes to defending. So let's say, for instance, if the team gets if the opposition get the ball, then suddenly your team is going to close in like that. But with the tactics that this team has got, which is long balls, the players themselves aren't going to be able to get themselves into a spread out position once they get the ball at their feet. So effectively they're going to be trying to play a long ball in a very small area, exactly how you see it now. So what you want to do is reduce the compactness right down. So when it comes to defending, it's going to be like, let's just go for the third tier. So when it comes to the defending, the players are still behind the ball, but they're very much spread out. So when the defenders win the ball back, they've already got the players in very much spread out positions for the defenders to then clear the ball, because they're playing long ball. Don't forget, they're going to clear the ball right up the top of the pitch towards Benteke or each winger. So that is important. So if you're playing a long ball, then the compactness needs to be spread out and not tight like this. It needs to be spread out. Okay, right, now the other attacking instructions. The advanced instructions. So when you've got a player like Benteke up front, his main threat is his strength, his aerial ability, and his heading. Okay, so he's able to jump, he's able to hold defenders off, and is able to head the ball. That is questionable. So what you would want to do for Crystal Palace is that you would want... Oh, by the way, this is default, so they're all off. So who knows what sort of advanced tactics the com instills into a team when you're playing against them, if any advanced tactics at all. So so with the likes of Benteke and the two wingers crossing the ball into Benteke because they're playing long ball, obviously you are going to want centering targets, because that is basically the aim is to score from crosses. Of course it is. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have, if you're playing a long ball and you've got a strong centre forward up front and two wingers, why wouldn't you play centering targets? Surely that is your tactic. So you've got centering targets, and you can also use for the second attack option to use attacking fullbacks, which means that your deeper line midfielders drop back a little bit, and your wingers can come inside exactly how you see there, allowing the fullbacks to bomb on and allowing the likes of Townsend and Zaha to move in more centrally, ready to get the knockdown from Benteke if the ball gets to Benteke, obviously. Defence, that can be entirely up to you. Because we got aggressive on there, I'm actually going to go with a gegenpress. Because a gegenpress itself is for teams who don't have a particularly high defensive rating. So what that means is that all the players available in midfield and defence will basically close down the opposition when they have the ball, and that also means that you will experience more fouls. If you're playing against the com and Crystal Palace is the com, you will probably experience more fouls when you're playing a team that's got gegenpress, because the likes of the midfielders who can't tackle for shit will come in and they will basically just slide and take you out, resulting in a yellow card for the AI or even a red card. So gegenpress is quite essential for teams who don't necessarily have a very good defensive overall rating. The second defence, you can pretty much choose whatever you like. So deep defensive line, if you've got some tall defenders, you can use a deep defensive line and they can clear the ball with their heads. So we can go with that for Crystal Palace as well, because they got the likes of Scott Dan and Mamadou Sakho. Okay, so these are yeah, they are the advanced instructions for a team like Crystal Palace, because these advanced instructions lend themselves well to the actual team lineup itself. Okay, right. So we're just going to quickly do the same again with the with the defensive option. So it won't take too long. So counter attack, long, wide, maintain, support range, pushed right up, and defensive will be aggressive. Defensive line is dropped back a little bit, and the compactness is spread out a bit more because they play the long ball. Okay, so we'll just do exactly the same thing again. Deep defensive line, gegenpress, centering targets because of Benteke being a striker, and attacking fullbacks, which allows Andros Townsend and Wilfried Zaha to come into the to come in field a little bit more. Okay, so that to me makes much more sense as a formation for Crystal Palace rather than what was put out there as far as the default is concerned, which just made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Okay, right. Whilst you're here, the best thing to do is players to join attack. These are never ever selected, so just choose 3 of the most effective players in set pieces, which clearly seem to be those 3. And also make sure that the free kick takers are selected correctly too. And obviously they are indicated by the rating, which is obviously displayed 84 for Pete Townsend, for Andros Townsend. Okay. Right, okay, so that is Crystal Palace's tactics now fixed to suit the players and the formation that has been set by Konami. Before that, Konami just completely screwed it, telling them to play short passing when they've got a team that just basically plays out wide. Okay. So, what you then need to do is you can go into the players for Crystal Palace. Now, because they're going to be playing long balls, you want to make sure that the centre-backs are going to be long ball experts. Now, please bear in mind that just because they got the long ball expert playing style down the bottom, I'll show you where that is in here. So the playing style, just because they've got the long ball expert, it doesn't mean they're suddenly all David Beckham. What it means is that the players will frequently play long balls rather than playing balls across the ground. Okay, so again, it suits the tactics. It works with the tactics. So as we're just going to scroll through here, we've got Mamadou Sakho, long ball expert, and the playing style at the bottom. Perfect. The same with Ward, his long ball expert. Perfect. And he's got an early cross as well. And his player skills says pinpoint crossing, which is perfect again. Van Arnholt, long ball expert down the bottom, and he's a speeding bullet, which suits the advanced tactics of attacking fullbacks. And he's got pinpoint crossing as well. Now again, just because they've got pinpoint crossing doesn't suddenly mean they're all David Beckham or Kevin De Bruyne. What it means is that they will actually put crosses into the box when they possibly can. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to land on the attacker's head every single time. Doesn't mean that at all, because if you look at his lofted passing rating, it's only 73. It's not like David Beckham, who's 95, 96 or whatever it is. He's 73, so he will put the crosses in. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be they're going to land on a sixpence, because they won't. Okay, right. So in the defensive midfield, what you want here is obviously this guy's going to be in the centre of midfield. So you might just want to give him a one-touch pass ability, just because he's in the middle of the midfield. Now, I'm not being funny, but if you can't do one-touch passing, then you shouldn't even be a midfielder. You shouldn't even be a professional footballer. If you can't do a one-touch pass, you should not be in the middle of a pitch. Now, it doesn't mean to say that suddenly he's gonna be perfect at laying the ball off every time. What it means is that he will actually attempt to do a one-touch pass. It might go astray, but it's better for him to actually try and pass the ball to his teammate doing a one-touch pass than it would be for him to receive the ball, trying to turn, and then losing the ball, willy-nilly and throughout the whole game, because that is not how a footballer plays. They get the ball, if they've got a person on them, they will lay it off. One-touch passing is essential for a midfielder. So, in my opinion, all central midfielders should have one-touch passing, otherwise you shouldn't be a midfielder at all. So we've added one-touch passing to Koyate, however you want to pronounce his name. Now, MacArthur, he's got one-touch passing, and he's also a long ball expert as well. Wilfried Zaha has got he's got long ball expert, and he's also got his trickster and amazing run as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be a great crosser of the ball. However, I am tempted to give him pinpoint crossing as well, because at the end of the day, he's a winger. And if there's one thing a winger should be able to do is cross the ball. So this guy will now get pinpoint crossing. One thing I also do need to make people aware is Trickster Amazing Run are actually linked. Trickster Amazing Run are actually linked to the player's skills. So for instance, the AI won't actually tell the player to do the scissors feint or the flip flap, basically because the com playing style doesn't tell him to. So if that trickster box is unticked, these skill sets here won't actually work. And as far as the com is concerned. Now, the amazing run here, a player who looks to penetrate deep into opposition territory using deft turns and dribbles. Now, those deft turns are actually linked also to the Marseille turn, the sombrero, the cut behind and turn, and I can't remember if it includes the Scotch move or not. I don't think it does. But what that means is that the AI won't actually utilise these skills unless these two boxes are actually ticked. So when you play with the player, all of these skills will be available to you. All of these skills will be available to you when you play with that player in your team. But when you play against the AI, unless these two boxes are ticked, the player won't, or very, very rarely, pull off any of those skills that he's got in his inventory at all. He will hardly use them at all. But if you tick them, they will use them. Okay. So, on to the next one. We've got Andros Townsend with pinpoint crossing, which is perfect. Down the bottom there, you can see that the com playing styles, again, he's got amazing run and he's got speeding bullet, but he hasn't got trickster, which allows him to use the scissors and the cut behind and turn. And he also doesn't have early crossing either. So we'll leave the early crossing off because we only have 5 to play with. But I'm going to apply trickster to Andros Townsend. So now scissors feint and cut behind and turn will be used by the AI when you play against Andros Townsend. Okay, so on to the forwards now. This is okay. Scissors Feint and Flip Flap work well with the Trickster for the com. The Amazing Run works well with the Marseille turn. First time shot, yeah, in Speeding Bullet and Incisive Run, so he cuts in from the wing. That's absolutely fine. One thing that I will do, again, is I will... actually, no, I won't. I was going to apply Pinpoint Crossing because he is, after all, a winger. And what do wingers do? Wingers cross balls. So there we go. We've applied Pinpoint Crossing to Jordan Ayew. Now, like I say, it doesn't mean he suddenly becomes David Beckham. It just means he puts in crosses as and when he can, when he's being controlled by the computer. Christian Benteke. Now, as you can see from Christian Benteke's skills, he's got heading, knuckle shot, and first time shot. Okay, right. In the com playing styles, all it's telling him to do is shoot from distance. That is all it's telling him to do. So, what we are going to do is we are going to give Christian Benteke one touch passing. And the reason for that, it isn't about the ball itself being passed to feet into Christian Benteke and he lays it off like Dennis Bergkamp. Far from it. What this one-touch pass means is that Christian Benteke will head the ball down to a player nearby. Now, as a target man, which is what Christian Benteke is, Christian Benteke's skill set is to basically receive the ball in the air, knock the ball down to one of his opponent, down to one of his colleagues or one of his teammates, and then they can lay siege on the opposition's goal. So yeah, the whole point of having a target man is for Christian Benteke to actually head the ball down to a teammate, and then they can carry on with the attack. So without this actually being ticked, one touch pass, Christian Benteke will actually try and control the ball and then take a touch and then lay the ball off. Now that is not what a target man does. A target man ultimately is meant to flick the ball on or knock the ball back to one of his teammates when he's under pressure. Not try and take the ball down, control it, because by the time he's done that, he's lost it. So one touch pass for a target man is essential. Okay, now one of the AI com playing styles that Konami did instill in Benteke was Long Ranger, and yet the long range drive tick box isn't even ticked. So tick it. They work hand in hand now. So the long range drive works with the Long Ranger com playing style. Works hand in hand. That makes absolute sense. This is the whole issue that I've got with Konami's lackluster installation of the tactics and the player skills, because they make no sense and it turns into a big old fucking mishmash. And that is why a lot of the games that you play in PES always feel the same, because basically there's no real direction for a team to play a specific way. And it's just a complete mess. And every game feels the same because every team's tactics are set up as a mishmash. Okay, right. So, we're going to have a quick look down here. One touch passing applied to the defenders, which is absolutely fine. Central midfielder, I'll give this guy a one touch pass as well. Again, he shouldn't be a midfielder if he can't do one touch passing. McCarthy, man marking, track back. Again, his complan styles is long ranger and long ball expert, and yet his player skills don't reflect that. So he can have weighted pass, one touch pass, outside curler, and as he's got a long ranger, he can have a long range drive as well. Now the com playing styles work alongside his skills. Okay, right, so that's okay. We'll give this guy one-touch passing as well. It is an absolute nightmare, but the thing is, if anybody wants to try this, just follow what I'm doing here. Kind of just use a little bit of common sense that I'm using right now. So this guy is actually a target man because he's nearly 200 centimeters tall. So yes, so he's got one-touch pass and heading. That makes absolute sense. Yeah, so try it with one team and then play against them, and you'll be very, very surprised with the outcome. Okay, right, so that's absolutely fine. There's no problem with that. Tossen, heading, acrobatic clear. I don't know why he's got acrobatic clear. He's a bloody striker, for God's sake. No idea why Konami have applied a defensive element to Tossen, but never mind, we'll leave that in there anyway because he hasn't got very much else. But we'll do one touch pass. Okay. What we'll do is after this we'll play against Crystal Palace, and you can see exactly what I'm referring to as far as these adjustments to the tactics are concerned. Alright, so we'll give this guy one touch pass, pinpoint crossing and weighted pass as well, just because he's an attacking midfielder and that makes much more sense. And make him a long ball expert as well. And what you also want to try and do is that you want to try and make the AI play to the strengths of the tactics instilled by the AI. Sorry, the tactics instilled by what you're applying. So if you're playing long ball, then ideally you want a lot of players to be able to play long ball. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's like, you know, if you've got a lot of... If the team's tactics are long ball tactics, then you want the players themselves to be able to be playing long balls. Okay, right. So that's Crystal Palace done. And we're going to play a game against them now, and we'll see exactly what to expect. So they're now playing counter-attacking football, long passing, and their teams, or the players have all got long ball experts in certain areas, which makes much more sense. So it suits the tactics better than what it did. So let me play. I don't want to choose a team that's too good. Let's go with let's go with Leicester against Crystal Palace. Very even as far as the overall rating is concerned. Okay. And general settings, going to play Superstar. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Okay, right. So let's go. See how well this team plays now, and see if the players work to the tactics. So we applied Gegen press. We also selected aggressive pressing as well.
I would say Christian Benteke, a striker with all the classic qualities to lead the line. As a finisher too, he can call upon power and guile, which is a potent and pretty deadly mix. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Needless to say, he was expecting a
So they passed it short along the floor, but they should ultimately now be looking for a long ball. And they did. And it worked well.
Have to tune his rangefinder before the next one. Albrighton. Good challenge. He just stood firm. Benteke. That's clear cut.
Damn, I didn't need to do that. Right, okay.
That's going to be a booking. Can he finish?
Anybody that joins late, I've just finished adjusting the tactics, which anybody who wants to have a look at that, then obviously watch the first half an hour. It explains more in detail about how to work or make the tactics work for each individual team. And it is an interesting insight because Konami have completely screwed over the way that the teams are prepared, and that is why a lot of the time when you play PES, the games are always very, very similar and a bit boring, a bit predictable, as opposed to having each team play in a tailored way. Oh shit! And there you go. That was the one-touch passing, which Benteke laid off to whoever that was in midfield, Koyati. And we'll see that again. So there's the long ball. There you go. That was the heading down from the one-touch passing from Benteke, which is what we've applied. So exactly how Benteke should be playing as a target man. So there you go. So as you can see, the long ball experts applied to the defenders. They plan the long ball more frequently because I've told them to by giving them long ball expert playing style. But it doesn't mean that their long balls are actually that good. Oh, come on, Vardy. I was a bit lucky there.
Thinking about that, I think they perfected that on the training ground because it took them seconds to get the ball from back to front. They really commit forward in numbers too. It was all very well drilled.
Oh, see, again, Scott Dan has long ball expert because the rating isn't that good. He'll try and play a long ball, but will give the ball away, which makes much more sense. Christian Fuchs, you're having a laugh. Jesus. Right, okay. Well, let's try and knuckle shot actually. Oh, that's not good.
Who's getting there? Herrera. It's Albrighton. Albrighton plotting from out
Oh
the
shit.
right-hand side.
Oh, come on, ref.
Sliding in.
Tell you what, Mamadou Sakho is on thin ice at the moment. See, so even though we're telling the team to play long ball, they will only play long ball when it's necessary.
To make it 1-0.
And there you go. Wilfried Zaha on the ball. Absolutely tore me a new arsehole. Oh, unlucky Vardy.
Crystal Palace finally get themselves a breather. Well, if ever a tackle had to be made, that was about the perfect example. They were completely caught out by the break, and they got themselves into last resort territory. What a saviour. Now here's the through ball. Albrighton. James. Kicks one in. Massive lead.
Oh, unlucky. Good play.
He's got reflexes that are in perfect working order, Peter. That was very good to watch. He's got rid of that.
Blimey. Benteke's absolutely done me.
Now the cross.
He was too strong. Benteke was too strong. Couldn't get anywhere near him. Long ball in. Oh. See, again, long ball expert, but because he's not a particularly great player, he's overhit the pass. Which is what you want to see. You don't want to be seeing pass sideways, sideways, sideways in a football game. You see that in real life and it's dull as shit.
James. Fuchs. It's Gray. Just 15 minutes till half time. James with a delicate ball. Played into the middle. Keeper's ball. Played out to the right.
God, what a ball that was. Blimey.
James pumps it upfield. Shapes the
Oh, unlucky.
away from the
There you go, there's the long ball rather than trying to pass it out of defence. And there's the one-touch pass from Benteke.
Andros Townsend to get on the end of this. Shoots!
You having a laugh?
Brilliant! Unbelievable. What a really good show of cards.
You having a laugh?
They must have never know when they
Benteke scored a goal like that.
perfect timing.
That is exactly what I'm talking about. So the AI is now playing the players to their strengths.
And he'll be buzzing inside after
Even though I've never seen Benteke do that before, ever. But yeah, there you go. Benteke, AI. Oh, God. Oh, Benteke, what are you doing?
And that has added a whole new complexion to the game. Well, they're back on
Right.
level terms,
Okay, so here we go. So down to 1-all.
From here, I've no idea. Ayew. And now they can launch a counter. Aimed long and direct.
Excellent.
Lineker.
Come on, Lineker.
Lineker. And he's whipped it in low. The defence can get it cleared. Fuchs tries to stroke it through. Who's going to make this theirs?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Get on the end of this.
What a ball that was. Blimey, O'Reilly. Wes Morgan had no chance.
He's offering an apology for that.
So now, as you can see, the teams seem to have more of an identity. Have more of an identity. It's more direct. It's playing to their strengths. It's playing to the team's strengths, which is the most important thing.
Split-second decisions. Sometimes they just make the wrong one. I think he would have been better placed. Crossfield, changing the point of attack.
Oh,
Looks to thread it through.
oh, where's Morgan? Seriously.
Tay. And Sahar. What a save
Right, Vardy. Oh, damn it.
Kiyate is lifting it over. Very well to intervene. Promising, but eventually thwarted without doing any harm. It's Lineker.
That is disgraceful. And this is due to the gegenpress that I told you about. The gegenpress is now telling players with not great defensive capabilities to basically go for the ball, to try and win the ball back, which ends up resulting in sometimes results in a foul. Which obviously then sometimes leads to yellow cards and red cards, which in all fairness, one of the biggest gripes with PES at the moment is the lack of fouls or lack of yellow and red cards, obviously.
So what now? Looks to slip it through. Mamadou Sakho does well there, alert. It's going to be the final action of the first half. So there was the first half. It's been a could have.
Okay, so we'll carry on as we are. I think it's pretty even so far. And I'm impressed by the way that Crystal Palace are now playing. There you go, another long ball, but it wasn't quite as accurate as what they have been, because obviously we've... God. Keep us down, keep us down, keep us down. That is absolutely disgraceful. Who the fuck was that? Now, in all fairness, Kiyate actually has pretty good defensive capabilities. So that was just a shocking challenge. Fuchs had no chance against Benteke then. Straight through the middle. Come on, Vardy! Oh, unlucky. Unlucky. Oh, unlucky Vardy. It's going wide anyway, right? Oh, Christian Fuchs. What the hell are you doing up there? Oh. Again, up towards Benteke, which is what he's there for. Scott Dan now. Another booking. How many bookings is that? 4? 5 bookings for Crystal Palace? I can't have Fuchs taking free kicks. That's ridiculous. So who's got a knuckle shot? Vardy. Right, okay, Vardy's taking it then. That's a wonderful ball. Jesus Christ, what a ball that was.
He's onside.
Get your head on it. Oh, how was that not a penalty? Ball's all getting a bit feisty. Come on, Albrighton.
Albright picks one in. Managed to get it away. And it's Albright. Varney is now the subject of some adhesive marking. Yeah, and if they're going to try and stop him in this fashion, Peter, they're going to really test the referee's patience from here. Morgan positions himself well and cuts it out. Gray.
Oh, come on, Gray. Again, great little layoff from Benteke. Chip pass. Go on, Gary. It's like the second goal that you've ever scored outside the box.
That's what they could do to you. Well, talking about being hit on the break, the ball was in their net before they could even organise.
Okay, so anybody that's joining late, we're just showcasing the adjusted tactics for Crystal Palace, who I'm playing against. So they have more of a distinctive playing style, and it's working fantastically well. They're playing counter-attacking long ball football, and it suits Zaha, Townsend and Benteke down to the ground. It is how Konami should have made tactics from the very beginning. So now the team themselves have a distinctive way of playing, which, in my opinion, is very much lacking. So there you go, that was the one-touch passing again and heading from Benteke, but there was just nobody there. So it doesn't mean that every single one-touch heading or one-touch pass that he does is going to be accurate. It's not. Come on.
The worst cross in the world, but still room for improvement. Now the pass.
Oh.
And he's there to cut it out. The ball needed to be better there. It's a wasted chance.
Come on, Wes. Oh my God. Wes Morgan is shocking. He's so heavy. I can even feel it in my controller how fucking heavy he is. Right, okay, I'm going to have to make some changes quick. Don't think that's on, is it? No, it's not. Okay. Alright, so Gray, you are fucked. So let's bring on Madison. Let's bring on Chilwell for Fuchs. And let's bring on King even for James. Soyuncu for Wes Morgan, because Wes Morgan's fucked. And I think that will do. Yeah. So again, if anybody's joining late, and you have PES, regardless of what installation it is you've got, whether it's 17, 18, 19 or 20, I really recommend that you follow the guide set at the beginning of this video, because it will change the game. Oh my God, that is horrendous. Because it will change a game for you. It makes the game far more appealing. Every team is a lot more distinctive, and it's just far more. It's just a much more enjoyable game. But it will take a while to be able to actually adapt or adjust the teams to play a specific ways tailored to the players. It takes time. You know, what's it taking me? 25 minutes before we got this game going? 30 minutes? You've got to do that for every team. But, you know, you can start somewhere. You can do one team a day or whatever. And then play against them. And, you know... I actually just took out my own player. Did any... I actually just two-footed my own player and he went over. I've never seen that before. That is a great goal. Christian Benteke. That was actually a very, very good goal. Credit where credit's due. Very straightforward.
Yeah, it looks simple, Peter, but it requires intelligent use of space and good understanding to pull it off. Now it's the time to make their final change. Well, his stamina was
right, come on in, Ben.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with his arm. He was very willing, though. Not quite able.
Yeah, don't forget, this is playing on Superstar as well. It's 15-minute games, so 7.5 minutes each half. I don't know if you saw that, but that was actually Andros Townsend doing his scissors feint, which you very rarely see the AI actually do. But now he does it, because he's been fixed. I know these videos are a little bit long-winded, but believe me, they are all worth it. But they are all worth it. If you want a better game, you need to kind of follow these instructions and tailor each team to play a specific way. Right. How many fouls do they want to give away?
Looks to slip it through.
Oh, referee, for fuck's sake.
Terrific to watch.
That's good strength from Benteke again. One of my biggest problems in this game at the moment with the way that this is all set up now, or is getting to be set up this way, is playing against Didier Drogba. Didier Drogba in this game is immense. He is an absolute bully. He's like, imagine how Benteke has played in this game, but it is exactly the same, but just on a different level. It is just on a different level. It is horrendous playing against Didier Drogba. It really is. Boop, drop the shoulder, which is always nice to do. Right, I've had enough of that guy. Is that it? How many times is McCarthy going to do that to me? Right, come on, Madison. Have a ping and try and make it skid off the floor. Come on, give it a go off the floor. Oh, maybe not.
into the middle. Looking to shoot.
Oh my gosh. Go on, Andy, get your head on it.
It's a poor kick by the keeper, been intercepted, and he has been fouled there. Iheanacho plays it out to the wing, into the channel. Iheanacho.
Oh,
He's there to make a great save. The keeper has shown great concentration there. I think his anticipation pretty much did the trick for him. 4 added minutes on the board. Battles to win it back.
oh, he's muscled him off the ball.
Driven towards the far post. He's gone for it.
Oh my God, Iheanacho, that is shocking. No.
Zaha has created 1 goal already. James McCarthy tries to switch the play. Or Brighton.
Oh, come on, really? I think you'll go straight to penalties after this, but anyway, the game itself has proved my point. How the tactics have been adjusted and work perfectly to the players that the team has got. So it's perfect. Crystal Palace is now perfect. So I'm not going to do the penalties. So yeah, there you go. So that is masterclass number 1 to do with the tactics and how you can adjust the tactics. So each team plays in an individual style, but not just an individual style, a more logical style that's suited to the players, and also making the tactic, balancing out the tactics as well. So if you're going to be playing a long ball, then you want the players to be spaced out. There's no point playing long ball with the players all bunched up together, because who are they going to play the long ball to? It makes no sense. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there, but thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.